So hey guys, it's Voice in the Fog this side, and today I'm going to discuss a very important topic, and that's NEET PG GT scores, right? So we are going to talk about NEET PG GT scores, what your baseline score means, and where you might land up, right? If you score low, will you be able to land up in a very good rank or not? So this is a question which is asked by a lot of people to me, and also you need to understand that many aspirants feel so much disheartened and stuck after seeing their baseline GT scores. So they feel that if baselines are actually low, can they still get a good rank, right? This is actually the basic problem of every beginner NEET PG aspirant. Now, once and for all, we'll definitely clear this. And also, I need to warn you about stuck GT scores. I don't know if you have prepared for NEET PG sincerely in the past, in the previous year, but mostly this time it's around mid of August, and NEET PG 25 has just happened. So most probably the droppers would be there who would have not prepared seriously this year, or maybe interns who are freshers who would have started their preparation since either in April or maybe in May, or in fact right now as well, right? So basically that's why I'm going to walk you through the entire journey on the taking into consideration that a person is just starting and not in the middle of the journey, right? So first things first, even if you have prepared for this exam, I think you guys must know about the stuck GT scores, right? So we are definitely going to cover the topic of stuck GT scores as well, but let's first of all talk about baseline GTs, because that's what everyone is actually talking about, right? So baseline GTs is basically the time when you give your first GT. It can be after you have completed your GT. It can be after you have done one or two subjects, or but the ideal time is actually to take this baseline GT is basically right before the start of your preparation, when you're just past the final year MBBS and you're going to start your NEET PG preparation, or you just completed your internship and you're just about to start your NEET PG preparation. That's when you have to know about your baseline GT scores, because that is actually the worst that you can do, right? So the first baseline GT score will be actually the worst one, and it's definitely gonna motivate you, because you're not going to go below this, right? So this is where we actually start to go up and up and up, right? So first of all, you need to understand that what your baseline GT scores mean. So if you haven't given a baseline GT score yet, go and give a baseline GT score. It's very important. Now, assuming you give a baseline GT score, and let's say your score comes down below 100. I know 100 is a big score for many, but you need to just have patience and listen to me clearly, right? Let's say you go down to 100. Your GT scores, your baseline GT scores could be 60, it could be 70, it could be 80, or it could even be 90, right? Mine was 90. So what happens is that, or it might even basically be somewhere between 90 to 100. Let's say it's 100. Okay. So what happens is that, what I have observed, first of all, that whatever you have studied from MBBS, now this thing reflects your MBBS knowledge, right? So a lot of gold medalists, a lot of people, like many people say that getting a gold medal in MBBS is not worth it, or getting into the top ranks of your batch is not worth it, getting into top 10, top 20 is absolutely not worth it. But I must say that these are the guys who are actually scoring really well, right? Who are actually scoring really well in their baseline GTs. And most importantly, because I think in North, I don't know about South and all, but in North colleges, I think coaching has taken over, and most of the students are actually giving their professional examinations by just reading the coaching material, right? The main notes of the coaching. That's what they're actually doing. So I'll definitely make a separate video on how to proceed with this thing, because it's a really really useful thing if you use it properly, right? If you use your notes, if you use your QBank in the UG days also. I know that tons and tons of people who are preparing for NEET PG definitely face this kind of regret that yeah, kash we would have done it in our profs, we would have basically read the coaching materials properly, we would have done basically the main QBank properly, so we would have not have any problem, and we could even basically land at around 140 baseline, right? So but of course don't get intimidated, I know, with this score, because we will definitely talk about this also, but right now our main focus is baseline GTs, right? So that's what we are, and this is the bracket where a lot of students actually fall, right? So this is where you actually basically start to get, right? So when you get a gold medal, right, when the gold medalists or the toppers usually end up getting above 110, right? So some get 115, some start with a 120, right? Some even start with 135 or 140, right? These are the guys who definitely 99.99 percentage, or you in fact you can say even 100 percentage if they keep on preparing, right? So if they just basically not just stop preparing for any other reason, if they keep preparing, they definitely land up in basically the top 100, और top 100 में भी होता है पेपर खराब हो गया तो 100, और पेपर अच्छा हो गया लक साथ दे गया तो 1, right? So this is what they actually land in, right? So if you are getting basically here, I know that you are not actually watching this video, you are just basically chilling your life, because these are actually some really genius people, right? Because if you chill your life, have a lifestyle, have a life, and study along with it, you cannot definitely get a baseline score of this. They are like literally either genius people or super hardworking people, but this level of hard work and dedication is absolutely very rare to find. So high chances that they are very intelligent or prodigy kids. So let's talk about the baseline, right? So first question that comes is, can I get an all India rank 1? Okay, let's just face it, right? All India rank 1 or maybe an under 1000 rank, right? Initially क्या होता है कि जब स्टार्ट में ना जोश बहुत होता है, अंडर 1000 रैंक ये तो ईजी है, तो कुछ भी नहीं है, लाइक 100 के नीचे तो ऐसे ही आ जाएगा, बट एक्चुअली रियलिटी इज क्वाइट डिफरेंट. एनीवेज विल टॉक अबाउट दैट लेटर. सो ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 आ सकती है क्या हमारी अंडर 1000 रैंक यहाँ से बेसिकली आ सकती है? सो माई आंसर वुड बी आई डोंट नो, right? I don't know, because there are a lot of factors involved in it, but what I've seen mostly, if you start basically here, you can get into a under 1000 rank, but an all India rank 1, फिर यार जो 135 है वो बेचारा कहाँ जाएगा, राइट? बट आई विल डेफिनेटली टेक यू द पाथ कि अगर आप यहाँ से भी स्टार्ट करते हो, एग्जैक्टली आप स्टेप बाय स्टेप क्या क्या कर सकते हो, सो दैट यू लैंड अप एज एन ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1, राइट? आई कैन टेल यू एग्जैक्टली दो स्टेप्स ऑल्सो, बट यूजुअली पीपल are not perfectly disciplined. There are dopamine leaks, right? So discipline is a problem, right? They are not following the strategy. They are so confused what strategy to follow, and strategy is not just about sticking to one notes, right? So one revision source, this is what you have to basically, this is what they tell everyone, right? So one revision source, this is, you definitely have heard it so many times, but this is not the only thing, right? So this is just a basic stepping stone. If you don't have a single revision source, right, you are out of the game, okay? But you need to hear me out properly, that this is where only the game begins. This is not the end of the game, right? So this is just the first step. You have to climb the ladder, okay? So how I'm going to tell you this, see, what you need to understand, that in order to get a 135 plus, what I have actually seen is that, so in order to get an all India rank 1, what I have actually seen is that students who are actually scoring great in Marrow GTs or in basically Marrow quizzes, which it hosts on its basically WhatsApp channel, so what they are doing is that most of these basically GT questions, right? So most of these GT questions are from the Marrow QBank, okay? A lot of them are from Marrow QBank. Then there are PYQs, and then there are basic hashtag clinical and all stuff जो कि आपके RR में होते हैं. By Marrow QBank I mean कि जो चीज़ RR में नहीं है वो वाले क्वेश्चंस बेसिकली, राइट, जो आपके रैपिड रिवीजन में नहीं. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट मेन नोट्स बिकॉज आई नो इट्स नॉट डूएबल. इफ इट्स डूएबल then I told you, right, in a basically very specific case, you would have not been watching this, because if you were a genius and you were not basically just studying in MBBS and now you just take up the main notes and flip through the main notes, then you can definitely easily land up in the All India Rank 1, and absolutely you're not basically listening to me right now as well, right? So because that level of confidence you actually know about yourself, right? If you know that you're not that kind of person who can basically go through the main notes multiple times or trim them down or whatever it is, right? So because टाइम थोड़ा सा कम होता है, टाइम इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट. सो मैरो क्यू बैंक बेसिकली मैक्सिमम बच्चे क्या करते हैं, जो हमें एडवाइस भी मिलती है, दैट्स जस्ट फोकस ऑन दिस एंड स्किप दिस, बिकॉज ऑफ विच अब मैं आपको सच्चाई बताता हूँ कि PYQ और RR करने से GT में कितने तक पहुँच सकते हो आप. भाई देखो, सीधी सी बात है, वॉट यू कैन अचीव बाई डूइंग PYQs and RR. Basically what happens is that when a student is reading in rapid revision, okay, at one point of time you cannot retain 100%, right? So what happens is that during the preparation phase, first read might take 6 months, right? Second read might take 3, third read might take 1.5, and then eventually you get stuck on 20 days, right? So itna to lag jata hai maximum log, right? So if you don't cut it down, right, if you go word to word, right, it will take you 20 days, right? So what happens is that when you are, let's say you are in this basically 1.5 months wala phase or 3 months wala phase, what happens is that at one point of time you can only retain 7 days of information, right? 7 days के beyond जब आप जाते हो ना, तो वो information धुंधली होने लग जाती है, आप भूलने लग जाते हो चीज़ें, especially the volatile facts, right? So what happens is that when you are in this basically phase, you are only retaining 50 to 60% of RR at a point of time, जो आपको धुंधला याद है, which means you can just solve using guesswork or basically just ki an instinct or maybe even basically surety. So these are the 50-60% of the RR stuff that you remember, and you can solve questions through this. So this is where you actually get stuck between 120 to 130, right? So this is what a lot of guys on Reddit and even in clustering in NEET PG happens at basically this level, right? The ones who are scoring actually 120 to 130 in GTs, they actually end up scoring around 135 to 145, and I think this is where the real clustering happens, right? In NEET PG, we all know that below 150 corrects, right? So below 150 corrects, I think we get down to beyond a 10k rank, right? And this is where the actual clustering happens, right? So this is the reason. Now if you are right, you're able to revise it in basically 20 days and you are thorough with your PYQs very very nicely, right? What you can achieve, and you have actually, of course, to reach 20 days you have to do 3-4 reads and everything, right? You will reach a 140. Pushing beyond a 140 is the toughest thing that you will ever find. वो भी कुछ easy tests में, maybe even 140 भी नहीं, कुछ थोड़ा सा tough test आ गया, थोड़ा सा tricky GT आ गया, you get down to 135. You might even get down to 130 and then cry in your bed, but anyways. So this is what is actually happening, right? Even pushing to beyond a 155, it might require giving several GTs, and after giving those several GTs, you write down your mistakes in a mistake notebook, right? Marrow definitely repeats a lot of questions from their GTs. आप पुरानी GTs उठा के देख लीजिए, आपको बहुत सारे questions repeated देखने को मिल जाएंगे, right? So this is what you make a basically mistake book, right? And then you revise that mistake book right before the GT, and you start to get a few more questions correct, or you basically start to basically get some volatile basically topics correct, right? If you make some sticky notes on your wall, if you cannot do sticky notes on your wall because you're reading in the library, right? So you might not be able to do sticky notes on the wall, you can go for a 20th notebook. That's your mistake notebook. Do you understand? Or any volatile topics that you, whatever suits you, right? A lot of guys are not able to basically find volatile topics. They find the entire RR volatile, right? So that's a problem for them. So this is where you actually basically get stuck, and these guys who are actually breaking the 120, 130, they again land up in basically this area, and they eventually basically in GTs, they, depending on their luck, they are scoring between 155 to somewhere 160, right? So this is what is actually basically happening. But still here, like 160 means around a 2k rank, and 155 means I guess around 4 to 6k rank. I don't know exactly, but I think this is where it will actually land, right? So still you are not able to break under the 1000 barrier, right? So what for that, what you actually need to do is that what I have observed, let's zoom in this, that Marrow Q Bank right? So Marrow Q Bank, they actually talk about, and a lot of toppers who are actually getting the questions correct, they're actually definitely doing the Marrow Q Bank, because a lot of guys are actually just doing PYQs and RR, and this is, and the fate, we just understood that what fate do they suffer, right? Eventually this is the fate that they actually suffer, right? So if you add on to Marrow Q Bank, what I've observed is, I don't know why, but why that these guys, after solving the Marrow Q Bank, they are definitely able to push the GTs, because they are very specific Q Bank questions which are given in GTs, and they can push their scores to beyond 170. And a lot of guys, a lot of people, even in daily quizzes, when there are questions from the Marrow Q Bank, which a lot of people are not able to solve because they are actually stuck between 35 to 40 corrects out of 50 questions of daily quiz. If you are thorough with PYQs, RR, and Marrow Q Bank, you can get 45 plus, even in subject-wise tests, even anywhere, right? All these quizzes and everything in custom modules, and these are the guys who are eventually topping exams. That means, I know you will come up with some basically seniors, some basically senior story who will say that Marrow GTs they used to score under 100, then but suddenly in NEET PG they scored beyond 20k, right? So that's not what basically we need to talk about, right? We are not talking about negative stuff. We are talking about something known as hope, right? This is what is happening, right? If you are still delusional and you think that just you will do just these two things and eventually you'll get a top rank, and the most important thing, your baseline GT score is below 100, I think you need to work up and start doing Marrow Q Bank. Now, how to do that Marrow Q Bank, how to basically revise very, very efficiently, how to just use the proper bookmark, that star wala bookmark and that blue colored bookmark, I will make a separate video for that. You guys need to comment if you guys want that video. I'll definitely, I'll make I'm gonna make lots and lots of videos about the entire thing about NEET PG preparation, because before starting, basically I had a lot of myths, and I would just want to bust those myths so that basically my juniors don't have to suffer anymore. Okay, there's a lot of information which is not actually there, right? There are a lot of toppers out there who were toppers from the second class of their school, and they are not able to guide properly because they don't know how they get marks or anything like that. Anyways, so this is the entire thing, and you have to do Marrow Q Bank. You just have to basically solve the Marrow Q Bank, put this particular bookmark basically on the stuff which is not given in your basically RR and which is not your basically PYQ, and this one only on basically specific PYQs which you are not able to add on the notes, because you have to add PYQs in your notes. That's the most important thing you have to do. And after you are basically thorough with your PYQs and basically rapid revision of that particular subject, what you can do is you can just go through these star marked. After these blue ones, you can go through the star mark. This is what you can actually do, so that you can complete your preparation, and you can definitely boost your scores 170 plus, 180 plus. And these people basically, even if you say that okay, there's no scope, still no scope, because rote learning Marrow Q Bank stuff is not basically important. Most importantly, you are not rote learning. Okay, when you solve a MCQ, you are actually reading its explanations and the concept behind it, right? So it's the most BS thing that you can say that it's rote learning. It's not rote learning, right? You are actually just learning. It's not rote learning. You are definitely learning, right? So this is the hack that actually can even get you an All India rank 1, even if you have got 60 corrects in your GT. Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Definitely, if you have read your main notes in your UG times, it's going to be really helpful. If not, in your first reading, you can flip the main notes after properly learning the RR, so that you can just highlight stuff which is not given in the RR, or for that matter, if you don't want to use the main notes, you can even go for BTR. Just highlight stuff which is not given in a rapid revision. Only sticking to BTR, again, it's your choice, but it's only suitable for guys who have scored 140 or maybe even 130 in their baseline. Okay, in their baseline, because if you change your source mid prep, your image memory is going to suffer and you will take more time, so it's going to be very very difficult. इसी को concise कर लेना RR को, because you know that just keep concising RR, you know what you know, right? You just basically read the RR and you know that okay, this is the fact that I'll definitely recall, but this is not, so just white out or basically put a cross somewhere like that. So this is how basically you can actually gain your scores. So thank you everyone for being patient listeners. If you have reached till here, drop down a comment saying we made it. Okay, and this is just a stepping stone for you guys. Since you guys definitely are very very serious, you completed this entire video, you were serious about your future, you will definitely make it beyond and get a great rank. And I pray for all of you that you guys get an under all India rank, under 1000, under 100, or even 1 for that matter. Okay, if you stick to these strategies, I'll take you to all India rank 1. Okay, and definitely I'm going to make more videos. If you want any specific video, you can definitely put it down in the comments section. Okay, so see you guys. Up till then, bye bye.